All right. Next one. I think I want a medium one. So I think this is about that time. Oh, I guess too complex, huh? I think it's about that time. No, I guess too complex, huh? I think it's about that time where. I guess too complex, huh? Okay, never mind. I think it's about that time where I might need to buy the additions to this game so that I can get more complex mazes. Nothing there. I ascend. Ascend. I explore this area. This is my home. There's a descension point far away there. And so when I see stuff in the spiritual screen, I imagine that I'm... let's see if I could explain it this way. Brush. Okay. When I see stuff in the spiritual screen, I imagine that I'm in this world, and this one, I don't really see it, but I kind of feel it, right? So whatever I see here, I kind of incorporate into my emotion as a feeling, right? So if I look where I'm at right now, where I'm standing right now, there's a descension point. So I kind of feel like I don't see it because all I'm looking at is this with my eyes. This I'm looking at it with my emotion or something like that, right? So I see that descension point and I say, I feel like I'm sinking in this spot where I'm standing in this real world. It feels like I'm sinking. That means I can descend. All right. So it's kind of like a feeling. All right. So this is the spot. This is the place where I'm continuing. I look up. There's a descension point at the far end. Let's explore the rest of this apartment. I look up. Nothing here. Nothing here. Luckily, okay. If I need to go back, I go back there. Go back down there and look there. That's where I started up, and there's a descension point, and that is through the hallway right there. Let's see. There's nothing there. Good. If I need to go back, I go back there. Just reaffirming, just to engrave it in my memory. Good. Okay. Oh gosh. No, get this brush. Okay. That's it. So that's where I came from. Reaffirming. Okay. Okay, there's a descension point right there. Good. Oh man, this is kind of big of a big apartment. Okay, nothing right there. And nothing right there. So this is the descension point where I'm standing at. Let's see if we can figure out it. Okay. A descension point right there. Okay, good. Let's go back because I feel like I'm going to forget what this apartment looks like and where I came from. Nothing there. Okay. So that's where I came from. And there's two descension points if I go that way. I'm looking at the bottom screen now. That's where I came from. And that's where I need to explore. Two descension points right there. And two descension points right there, one of which I came from there. Alright. Let's explore the furthest descension point. The one in this crevice. So when I stand in this crevice, in this spot, I have this sinking feeling. Give in to the sinking feeling and descend. Descend. Ooh, this is a deep sinking feeling. So this is where I end up. Right. So if I want to, I have this sinking when I'm standing in the spot. I have this sinking and raising and feeling like I'm flying. So I could either ascend or descend. There's nothing there. There's nothing in that hallway. Oh, there's an ascension point right there. This is getting too confusing. I don't think I'll have time for this. So let's do this quickly. Okay. Nothing there. I could just go back. Let's go to the end of the hallway right here and see if there's anything interesting here. Nothing interesting there. Good. Dead end. So I just go back and giving even more to the sinking feeling. Ooh. Okay. I ended up in this place right here. This simple hallway. There's nothing there. See this? This is the world. This is the world what it's like. This is what happens when you give into that sinking feeling. It turns into this area right here. So now I have to give in to the flying feeling and fly. And that's where I came from. Okay, so that's what happens if you explore this crevice. If you give in to the... So when you reach this crevice right here, when you reach this crevice, you will have a sinking feeling. If you give in to that sinking feeling, you already know where you will end up and what you will see. And that's fine. You can give up, you can go back to where you were, give into the flying feeling, and find your way back home. But if you're not where you're supposed to be, if you're not back in the portal area, if you give into the flying feeling, you will not have the flying feeling, so you can't go back home. Yeah. So this is the second area where I'm looking. To go back home, I need to go there. But first I'm going to give into the sinking feeling in this area. Deep sinking feeling. End up in this place, and that's where the exit is. So if you give into the sinking feeling in that area that I just explored, you will end up here and find that because you go into that sinking feeling, you can find your exit. The time I have for now, so yeah. I'll be trying to do them faster and faster, because the more that I do these, the less I have to talk about, the less that I already mentioned, so I don't have to re-mention them. So I will only mention things that come up for the first time. But yeah, so that's fine. And the more I do stuff, the more new things that I learn. Those are the things that I will be explaining. Oh yeah, so they all build on top of each other. That the reason why I think about things like having a sinking feeling and having a flying feeling is, I'm not trying to be cute. I'm not trying to be like I'm not, it's not just a novelty, but it does make it easier to remember. It does make and so this doesn't mean that in real life, like when you have a sinking feeling in real life, that doesn't mean that there's a portal there. Maybe it does. I don't know. I guess it could mean that. But it just, I mean, if you want to connect it to real life, I guess what it goes to show is that our bodies and our minds uses different emotions, like different emotional signatures, different sensations in our body to kind of indicate what is going on around the world, right? So like when you close your eyes, how do you know that you're in the place that you think that you are? That's because you kind of feel like you're there. And if you were somewhere else, you would have a different feeling. Or if somebody were to move you, you would feel something that would indicate that you're somewhere else. So that's how your emotions, that's how your body keeps track. Your mind keeps track of where you are and what the environment around you, based by the use of the sensations in your body, right? So that's just one of the things that I'm using to my advantage in trying to navigate through this maze. I use the sinking feeling to indicate that I'm at a spot where I could descend, and I use the flying feeling to indicate that I'm at a spot where I could ascend.